Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. This is another presentation from www.central-mosque.com and from the Humble Heart YouTube channel about why women are told to cover when men ... If you're having trouble keeping up with me, simply switch on subtitles and closed captions and the button looks like this in the video. There's a problem with the website and the email, which is info@central-mosque.com, but hopefully it should be resolved soon. The question which has been received from sisters is, women, why do we need to wear a hijab because of men? I will try to answer this in 3 parts, inshallah. Point number 1. Hijab in Arabic literally means a barrier. In Islamic jurisprudence, hijab is a broad term which encompasses segregation of genders, modesty, and lowering and guarding of the gaze from lustful glances, avoidance of unnecessary contact, flirtatious conversations, etc. In Islamic law, the broad concept of hijab equally applies to both men and women. In Western mind, hijab is a piece of cloth which women use to cover their head or hair like a scarf. Due to this misunderstanding, few things are the logical result. Our sisters are wearing a headscarf or covering their hair with their hair covered, head covered, but their dressing and their behavior is not conformant with the Islamic laws of hijab. Our brothers are thinking that rules of modesty and decent dressing behavior do not apply to them. So you see sisters with their head covered and brothers with beards engaged in flirtatious discussion. The West is framing this conversation as women have to cover and men don't with a piece of cloth. This is an error. Secondly, da'wah is an invitation towards Allah Ta'ala and not invitation towards specific actions. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Chapter 12, verse number 108. Say, this is my way that I invite to Allah with insight, I and those who follow me. And by the way, da'wah is not a debate competition where you have to defeat the other at all costs and subdue them in a logical argument. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِالْمُهْتَدِينَ. Chapter 28, verse number 56. Indeed, O Muhammad, peace be upon him, you do not guide whom you like, but Allah guides whom He wills, and He is the most knowing of rightly guided. You cannot guide anyone no matter how much you love or want to. Guidance is in the hands of Allah Ta'ala. Your job is to deliver the message accurately. Third, actions in Islam are based on commands of Allah and the Messenger, peace be upon him, and not logical arguments, and I will give you 2 quick examples. Many Muslims have written about pork being high in fat or infested with certain microorganisms, or normal cooking cannot kill these disease-causing pathogens. Let me ask you this. If a new breed of pig is produced which has 0 fat and is guaranteed to be pathogen-free, will it become permissible for Muslims to eat it? No, but your logical argument will certainly fail. Secondly, Muslims wash their feet when purifying themselves before prayer. It is also permissible to do masa, which is touching the top of the leather or special socks with wet fingers instead of washing. This makes 0 sense. Why would you wet the top of the sock when it is the bottom which gets dirty when walking, etc.? The answer to both of these issues is that both of these are commands of Allah and His Messenger, peace be upon him, and not based on logical arguments. When it comes to hijab, Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, and to quote a partial verse, because this is the relevant bit, وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ, and to wrap a portion of the headscarf over their chests. By the way, I've seen arguments on the internet as to where is hijab in this verse, or where does it say to cover the head in this verse. Arabic has over 8 separate words for head covering, and khimar, which is used in this verse right here, is one of them. In a saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, we find an incident where a blind companion, Ibn Maktum, came to Prophet, peace be upon him, in the house, and he told his wife, احتجب minhu, adopt hijab from him. Here is the word hijab explicitly, by the way, but my point is that the wife of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or the mother of all Muslims, was told to adopt hijab from a blind companion who could not see. Every logical argument which I advance for hijab can be countered with another logical argument. I can say that dressing modestly or wearing a hijab reduces lust, thus reducing promiscuity in the society, and you will argue against it. But my argument isn't logical. It is because it is a command of Allah Ta'ala and not based on logic. Brothers or sisters can give examples of a hijab wearing sister who may be doing bad, questionable thing, while a non-hijab wearing sister might be morally better or acting in a superior manner. This is also not my argument. It is an obligation for men to have a beard, and brothers and sisters can give examples of men not having beards, but advising sisters to wear a hijab, once again, that is not my argument. What someone does or acts while wearing a hijab does not absolve a command of Allah Ta'ala from another Muslim. They will be responsible for their actions, and you will be responsible for your actions on the Day of Judgment. Lastly, if I am praying 4 times a day and another person is praying 5 times a day, then he or she is better than me in a direct comparison of that obligation. If he or she is dishonest or lies, it's a different issue altogether and a different sin. In terms of praying, he or she is still better than me. Thus, I urge all sisters to adopt hijab as a command of Allah Ta'ala. Over the years, I've known many sisters who were not covering but started covering. So take a step and start from somewhere. You may not be able to go from 0 to 100, but you can go to 10 or 20. Start adopting hijab in situations and circumstances in which you are comfortable to start with until you are at 100, because this isn't about a logical argument, but a command of Allah Ta'ala, just like prayer or fasting. What someone else does in a different setting or in all settings is their business. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.